Paul Hughes, H-U-G-H-E-S, and I am the, urban farm manager for Grow Calgary.
Okay.
And we're a community urban farm located 15 minutes from the downtown core of Calgary, a couple of minutes from Canada Olympic Park.
Okay.
We're situated on the Trans-Canada Highway, right over here. We've got about approximately 11 acres of land here. We've had about 300 volunteers working with us. We've got a corporate executive advisory committee that has been formed, and we have the farm component. So we have the goal of this particular farm is to grow food for the food bank. That's the only mandate that we have, is to grow as much food as possible for the Calgary Food Bank. It's completely volunteer driven.
Okay.
No one has ever been paid to do anything out here. It's donation driven, and it's sustainable, it's organic, it's utilitarian, and it's local. The food we're growing here is of the highest quality. Urban land reserves and access to urban land can be very costly. Calgary, $1 million an acre is, how do you afford to pay for that as a young or even a beginner? I won't say young because it's not the sole domain of the youth, but if you're a beginner farmer, how do you access land at $1 million an acre? It's prohibitive, and you cannot be, it's impossible to be competitive. So that's why things like crown land and city-owned land, accessing that and having urban ag zoning that reflects a desire to embrace urban agriculture and a sustainable, organic, utilitarian, local, that acronym SOUL, by the way, food system, a robust food system that actually can provide and maybe hit some of the targets that your community has set for local food production. So Calgary set a target of 5% of local food production, and it's presently at 0.0001. Like we're nowhere anywhere near 5%, and I've been almost laughed out of rooms when I suggest that 5% local food production and that 100% of our food will come from sustainable sources. And the big players in the industrial side of the industrial side of our food system, which is 99 out of 100, those folks really they're not embracing that. And I remember at a particular conference suggesting this, and I said, hey, whoa, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you about trends. So there are these targets that are being set. There's the buying and purchasing trends that are developing with wanting to buy local. And if you talk to any of the local restaurants, they're doing exceptionally well with their offerings of local food and sustainable and organic food. And farmers markets. So we've got quite a robust farmers market situation in Calgary, but very little of that food is actually local, and so it's a challenge. We don't really need more farmers markets, we need more producers.
Yep.
And we have to encourage that, and so that's the access part of it, is how do you get into land. So I encourage folks to, they can definitely get a hold of Grow Calgary, and we understand the mechanism. We're not launching space shuttles.
Yep.
But we will help anybody who's trying to access land for the purposes of growing food. So we're accessing this for $30 an acre per year, which makes it incredibly viable. There's potential for 11,000 acres in Calgary. So, and we're on the first 11. So 1/1000th of the capacity. So there's plenty of room for other people to become involved in local agriculture and to do it, to make it economical. I remember having a meeting with the mayor and him saying, well, how many community gardens do we have in the city of Calgary? And at the time, I think we had 57, and I said 57. He goes, they were surprised, like, how did you know that? And I'm, well, that's my business, that's what I do. Like, the Food Policy Council is about this. And he goes, well, isn't that food security? And I'm like, no, that's nothing to do with food security. All that food would be consumed in literally minutes. We had a population of 1.3 million people eating 3 meals a day. That's almost 4 million meals a day. And 5 food items per meal, minimum 5. I'm just using that as a simple. So, you're at 15 million food items, 60 million food items in one day. And 4 million and 3 meals, 15, 60 million food items a day, times 365, times, say, a decade, 10 years. You've got this huge number, like literally in the trillions. Like, you've got a massive number of food items being consumed in the city every year, with us producing a very thin sliver of that. So this massive market, and we got a little morsel, little pea over in the corner, and we're providing that. Now, if we would apply that, I often use, because Alberta and Edmonton and Calgary and hockey, I say, oh, well, what if Calgary was, consuming 60 million, using 60 million hockey sticks a day? I'm pretty sure somebody would be setting up a hockey stick manufacturing plant to take advantage of that opportunity. Yep. So, that's one of the things that we have to look at. And so food security, we're a long ways from having a food secure environment. And I don't get into the 3 days of food on the shelves. I'm not into that sort of fear part of it, although it's entirely true. But I look more towards, okay, what can we do to ensure that we have more than just 3 days of food? And how do we supplement it locally? How do we get the bigger producers to start to incrementally transition? Even 1% a year on a farm. You've got a section, 640 acres. Can you make 6.4 acres organic and local, and instead of having a monoculture of nothing but canola or whatever you're growing, and can you do something diverse like this, and can you move that and look at the opportunities? People will buy that food if you grow it. They'll definitely buy that food, and you will make more per acre off of that food, off of growing food that way, than you will off of your canola. And you're also diversifying your crop. And so if we incrementally move in a 1 or 2% of our land every year, that'd be great. But guess what? We really don't have the encouragement from the policy side and from the government side. It is the number one economic diversification and development opportunity in Alberta right now, is growing our own food. So feeding Albertans, grow more food, and doing it in a way that it goes directly into our local food system, which reduces our food miles, brings healthier food to our population, makes us more resilient, makes us more food secure. The knowledge base is local, and we should be at the vanguard globally with our land base. For 6 months of the year, we can grow for 6 months of the year, and it's happening now. It's 111 plus days. Like, we've got pretty good growing season. And then if we can extract tar and oil from sand, certainly we could probably extend that growing season and start tackling 365 day a year growing. I mean, we've got the technology. We can, there's a tremendous amount of waste energy in our municipalities, and we can do these things. Well, we got a Safeway in, say, Kensington, and right across the street is a local organic store. Well, their capacity is 3 parking stalls. Across there, and underground parking, they got like 400. It's a whole different ballgame. I mean, there's, people are making those purchases, but $8 for a dozen eggs is really, really tough for some people to do that. There's a lot of people that would like to purchase that $7 loaf of bread, but they can't justify that because they only have $300 a month to spend on food. So, and you're feeding a couple mouths. You've got children, and so our children should not be denied that opportunity. And so any movement to ensure that at the very least our children are getting the best food possible, and not the KDs and not the pizza pops and not drinking Coke. And we see that epidemic, it's endemic in society now, of the consumption of hollow calories, and from a lot of it from corn. And it's having a very negative impact on our health system through diabetes and obesity. And we've never been more obese, and we've never had the number of diabetes cases that we have, and then all the associated health problems and costs to the healthcare system because of a poor diet.